This
There you go. Recording in progress.
recording in progress. So funny to hear them say that. That always happens in Teams too, where you start a recording and then
Yeah.
it talks to
Well, I
you.
mean, they have to let you know beforehand, right?
There you go.
Just
There you go.
secret recordings of every business meeting in
It's
out on the web.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but I'm on the kitchen counter. Let me know if it gets too noisy. We can cut this out. We'll edit this in post.
No, it's all got to be there in the raw. Yeah. So,
Okay.
how's it going?
It is good. It is a beautiful Sunday morning in downtown Chicago, and I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
I'm
I can
awake.
see maybe the outskirts of a building in the
Yeah,
background.
yeah, they're building apartments like crazy over here. But I am good. I almost said I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic, but I haven't had my coffee yet. So that's in the works.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock.
It's a Sunday. Lazy Sunday.
You gotta start your day at 6 a.m. With like a 7 mile run.
You know, funny you bring that up. Siam and I just were talking about how this month we're just gonna challenge ourselves to go to the gym every day because we both kind of, fall off the bandwagon a bit.
Yeah.
We went to the gym yesterday and then we realized it's June 1st. So we're gonna hopefully do a challenge of it this month and hopefully stick to it. So
Yeah, so it's day
beginnings. We're
two,
gonna wake up at
right?
6 a.m. and stuff, is what I mean to say.
Well, it's day two in the month, so I guess did you guys do it yesterday and today?
I don't have to wake up early. I can still go to the gym. The challenge was very specific. Anyways, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good.
All
It's
right.
nice and warm day in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
guys have had some crazy weather. Is it a little static today? You having a good weather?
Yeah, like it's super sunny outside today. Like the weather
All the
seems
more
like
reason
pretty
to get
good.
out and about.
Yeah. Although it
Mm,
was kind of it was more bad during the week than it was like over the weekend so far. Like
yeah.
yesterday had a little bit of rain, but it was only for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, my folks were telling me about how it rained just a couple days ago and it just keeps getting it's wishy-washy. It's, May flowers, no wait, May showers bring June flowers.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I dare say English is somewhat my first language, so it gets tricky.
Yeah. It's if you knew it coming out of the womb, that would be a different story.
That would be weird. It all depends on what language it was.
Are you using the glasses right now to listen to
For the
me?
audio?
Yeah.
No, no, I'm not actually. So Ray-Ban Meta Smart glasses. Um, no, that's actually one of the things that I'm still trying to figure out about it. They Bluetooth connect to my phone.
Hmm.
Haven't successfully Bluetooth connected it to anything else. I also haven't tried hard enough, so maybe I can connect it to the laptop, and that would be really nice because the mic is right here on the nose piece, which
Okay.
is perfect setting because it captures everything. I can whisper to it and it'll hear me because it has that meta function. I can say, "Hey, Meta,"
Yeah.
and it'll
Yeah.
see
I
the
mean, I
story.
assumed it would like your nose would vibrate or something when you speak, right? So like it would have like a weird. But I guess I've heard you on the phone with the glasses before, and I think you sounded fine.
Yeah, yeah. I'm always told that the audio is very clear, especially when I first got it. Every time I would use it to call someone, I would say, "Hey, does it sound weird or different?" And they're like, "No, why?" And I'm like, "I'm talking to you through my glasses." It's always fun. I love doing quirky stuff like that. That's makes life a little bit more fun. And this is the coolest thing that's come out, I feel like recently, aside from obviously the Vision Pro, but that one
Three
doesn't blend in.
$3,500.
Yeah, that too, but also I like it when things are subtle. It's like James Bond-esque. He's got all these gadgets on him, but he just looks like a well-tailored gentleman. I love that. So this fulfills my Batman complex too, because I feel like, it's gadgets. You love gadgets, right? So yeah. I also made a cup of coffee, courtesy of Siham. Um, hope you don't mind me sipping on it throughout the interview.
Is that Bojack?
No, it's just Siam's got me obsessed with Costco now, so now I'm a Costco person.
Okay.
They had like a piece set with just various animals on it. This one just happens to be a donkey.
Okay.
I haven't seen BoJack, but at least I got the reference.
Yeah. I haven't actually watched it either, but I've
Yeah.
like seen it
I've
pop
heard
up.
it's good. It's always the weird ones that end up being really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So going back to the glasses, like how do you
Yeah.
like it since you ended up getting them?
I really like them. Which is, I was on the fence about it at first. I'm just not a big spender, generally speaking. So getting glasses that are $300, in relation to the Vision Pro, which is 10 times that cost, this is actually very, affordable. But $300 still seemed like a lot of money to me. Someone who doesn't even get, the iPhone headphones or AirPods, because I feel like those are just overkill when I can get $30, SoundCloud ones or whatever. But I bought these, and you've heard the story before. I'll reiterate it for the vlog. But I bought them with the intention of, trying them out, seeing how much I like them, testing them for 30 days, maybe making some content out of it. And then if I didn't like it, then I had the fail safe of returning them after 30 days. I think Meta Ray-Ban did a great job of creating that kind of buffer so that people don't feel scared to try them out. So that's exactly what happened to me. On like the 30th day, I realized that I was looking at the posted date on my credit card of this transaction and not the actual day that I bought it. So I was actually 1 or 2 days off, and
Yeah.
then it was too late to return. But I just ended up really liking them. So I didn't even feel bad that I wasn't able to return them. Since then, I've been using it primarily for the headphone functionality, fulfilling that need to have headphones because I didn't really have uh really high quality ones.
Yeah.
Granted, the audio on this is, you know, it's good for me. I'm not a snob about it, so I'm happy with the quality. But I use it for that more than anything else. I thought I'd use the camera for getting B-roll
Mhm.
for YouTube and stuff like that. But honestly, I've used it for taking calls and listening to music and just having headphones be accessibly right here,
Yeah.
needing to reach into my pocket, open the case, grab my headphones, and then taking them off as well. So I like the subtlety of it.
Yeah.
And I will ramble if you don't cut me off.
No,
So
no. No, I mean the thing is it's kind of weird. Like, so have you heard of like the Rabbit R1 and the Humane Pen?
I've heard of the humane pin. What's the rabbit one?
There it was like it's basically kind of the same thing as the Humane Pen, but it's not a
Mm.
wearable. It's just like a little box that you carry around with you that's supposed to be like a they call it a large action model, I think, is what it's based off instead of a large language model like ChatGPT or something.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be able to like order DoorDash and like all that stuff for you. So you just like say, "Hey Rabbit, order me DoorDash," or like, "Hey Rabbit, text my friends that I'll be late," or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you say it's a box, so is it something you're supposed to just keep in your pocket?
Yeah, it's I think it's supposed to like or I think their idea was that it's supposed to replace your phone,
Hmm.
right? I know there's been like some controversy with it with like do you know who CoffeeZilla is?
CoffeeZilla. The name rings a bell, but reiterate for me, please.
He's like he basically like illuminates scams. So he got
Oh,
really famous during like Bitcoin and stuff because
yeah.
like not Bitcoin but trash coins and
Is
basically
he?
got them or like exposed like pump and dump schemes and stuff like that. And not that this is like a pump and dump scheme or something like that, but it's just that like they may have overstated what they actually have, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because if it's a box, I mean, I obviously don't know what it looks like, but it sounds like it's just a phone that you don't have to take out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it hear you though? Because I mean, obviously these are
No, no,
right
I
here.
think you do have to take it out of your pocket. And I,
Oh, you still have
and
to. Yeah.
and
Okay.
that's what I guess what I was like thinking is that like with the Humane Pin and then with the Rabbit R1, they're like trying to create
The
these like
humane pin you just
new
wear right here, so it's close enough. All right.
yeah. Well, they're trying to create these like new product categories and trying to like essentially make you stop using your phone. But like I feel like the two most obvious ways of like in terms of like wearables,
Yeah.
like glasses and the watch make the most sense.
Yeah, the watch is again another James Bond reference, right?
Yeah.
You just, really subtle and it's right there. But yeah, I think these are very natural ways to do it. And that's the thing, right?
We already have them, right, in our culture. Like we already wear
Exactly.
watches, we already wear glasses.
Exactly. This reminds me that I don't know what the term is, but there's this idea of um we still have a lot of terms and symbols that we use that tie back to old technology that we then adopt into our current technology, like on, Microsoft Word, when you want to save, you click on that little icon and it's a floppy disk. We don't
Yeah.
have the floppy disk anymore, but it's that. Or hanging up the phone. You don't
Yeah.
actually physically hang up your home line
Yeah.
anymore. But that used to be the case. And it's still something that presents in society and it makes us feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So whatever future technology we have, the glasses exist. The glasses have existed forever, for
Yeah.
well, quote unquote.
And yeah,
But just adding
it's
the technology here makes it so much more natural.
right. And like the idea, so when I saw the humane pin, for example, like the first thing I thought, have you seen Star Trek?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They got like
That's
the little
exactly
balloon.
what the reference is. Which I imagine that's what they were thinking of,
Yeah.
right? Can't really, but yeah, very convenient. It's something that's, you just put on top. It's
Right.
yeah, and it's subtle.
Yeah. And
I like
it's
the idea of it, but I don't know. We should definitely talk about how the humane pin did
I
because
don't
I
think it did very well. Like I think it
bad
kind of
idea.
ran into the same problems as like I think most AI systems just aren't like developed enough to do a lot of tasks for you anyways.
Yeah.
Right. And then both so for your glasses, Meta, right? They have their own AI system that I think from not that I know very much about it, but I think it's like a generally fairly good one and a competitor for ChatGPT, right?
It might just be. Actually, I was going to kind of talk on the other end of the spectrum. I don't know what the humane pin's like reaction time was, but
Yeah,
that's obviously something that's very important. And
yeah,
that's one of the things that the meta ones take a little bit of time. Like whenever I say I'm supposed to say hey, and then after a little bit of space, say meta. I'm not going to say that now because then it keeps talking to me while I'm trying to talk to you. But after it activates and I give it a prompt, it
mhm,
does take a little bit of time to
yeah,
respond or to do the action. And I love, bringing this to, when I'm talking to my friends and then get to have them wear it and try it on and try test out the AI. And every time they'll say something and they'll say, I don't think it heard me or I don't think it's working because it takes a little bit more time than they want. It's not
yeah.
like egregiously long, but it does take a little bit more time. Outside of that, I haven't been testing it enough, I feel like. I should try to be more creative. I go to very simple prompts. I say like, how's the weather today? Or do I have any messages? Or, every once in a
Well, I
while.
mean that's your day to day, right? Like
It is my day to day, but I
mm,
want to test the capabilities of it and I want to see how good it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's also that like I mean I think generally speaking when I'm on my phone I'm either
Mhm.
scrolling through a social media app, I'm either checking the weather or I'm texting someone, right? Like I feel like I don't re and occasionally I have like a mobile game that I'm like playing that is just a bad mobile game that I'm like
Yeah.
low key addicted to at the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But when it comes to the other smart devices that I have lying around the home, like, Google Home, the Alexas, I tend to ask them kind of creative questions. It's usually because I'm in the kitchen and I'm like, how many carbs does this have? Or do this math for me. But I never find myself asking those questions to this Meta device. So I definitely want to test out its AI capabilities a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, when I was so I was this weekend or not this weekend, last weekend, Memorial Day weekend,
Mm,
I drove to Houston with my dad.
mm,
And so he and I got into like a discussion about like exchange rates between like the US and Pakistan and like how the Pakistani economy is doing and how the US economy is doing.
mm.
So like half the ride I just had the voice version of ChatGPT on, and we were just like asking it like random questions, like what was the like exchange rate between USD and
Yeah.
Pakistani rupees in like
Mm,
1969 or
yeah.
something,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and just like had like a whole like full blown like conversation with like ChatGPT just like stuck into the middle of it.
And it's so nice that it does a good job being conversational. I mean, it also takes some processing time, so it's not as reactive as maybe a person would be,
Yeah,
or at least not with social norms. It's
yeah,
totally okay to just wait before you answer a question, right? That's one of those interview tips. But I think it does a great job. It's basically you have a smart friend in your pocket, the smart friend that you always want in your group. For me, that's you, but now I have a second one.
Have you tried doing it in different languages?
No, no, I haven't.
We when we were doing the conversation in the car,
You did
we
Urdu?
we spoke completely in Urdu, and
Yeah,
like
that's so cool.
even the English words like get like properly transliterated and figured out what they were in context.
Oh, nice. Okay, so it's like bilingual too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Although I think you have to like I think you can't like completely switch languages on it.
Yeah.
I might be wrong about that. We didn't really test it out, but like still the fact that I can like you can speak in both at the same time seems kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't really think about that because you change the setting on your computer or whatever smart device you're using,
Mhm.
and it's very binary in a sense, not
Yeah.
literally binary, but it's like this language or that language, right?
Yeah.
But day-to-day speak, I don't know pure Urdu, so I have a hodgepodge
Yeah.
of English and Urdu whenever I talk to even my parents, and they understand because obviously they also can
Yeah, I
read
mean,
it.
I think that's probably like the thing for most immigrant kids, right?
Yeah,
I think
yeah, it's
it's just
natural.
that they speak a minimum of like half of two languages.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it becomes this thing of like what the developers think and then what the user actually ends up needing it to do.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, that's really cool that they thought of that.
yeah,
I always think, what are people doing in Microsoft every day?
yeah,
Or, as an example, because like Excel's already there and it's great and it has more tools than I'll ever need. What are they doing day to day? But it's probably things like this.
yeah.
The software companies have to constantly go through the human element of application.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of the software companies, or not software, but the like tech companies ended up
Mhm.
like laying off a ton of people over the last like few years, right?
Yeah, it's been a tough couple of years, yeah. But for like various reasons too. It's not even just one thing that seems
Right.
to be ailing these companies, right?
But I
There's
think one of the things is might just be that they have so many people working on so many different things that may not actually be like working on anything, right? Like,
yeah.
or I guess the difference between like working on something and then being like productive and like kind of generating a product.
Yeah. What company was it? It's either like Meta or Apple, but they ditched the idea of putting resources into making a smart car. They were
Mhm.
doing something, I forget
I think
which
that was
company.
Apple, if I
Was it
remember.
Apple? Yeah, so it's like one of those things. They're trying so many things and
Yeah.
they had to obviously either lay off or shift a lot of jobs
Yeah.
with
But
the
that,
tool
that
that didn't work.
yeah, I mean that really sucks for like the people who are the like software engineers and like the developers and everything because they're literally
That's
going
their
into
niche.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what they were good at. I don't
yeah,
know what they'll do. I mean, they can obviously go to Tesla or something else. But yeah, speaking of Tesla, Elon Musk did the same thing with Twitter, right? He drastically, when he acquired it
yeah,
before it actually drastically downsized the workforce, right?
yeah.
Um,
Although I don't know how like how well that ended up working out, right? Because I've
yeah,
heard like a lot of bad things about Twitter, like or X, I guess,
yeah,
or the app formerly known as Twitter.
yeah.
Um,
But
I've
it was a jarring thing for him to do, but one that kind of made sense to the common person because it's like, why do I need thousands of people running a platform that seems kind of simple on the surface. I mean, it's obviously not completely correct. But there was a lot of fat to be trimmed, I guess. There's a better way to say that, but
yeah,
it was bloated. The company was probably bloated as far as its workforce goes. Again,
right.
it's sad to say because there's people on the other end of those jobs, so I don't want to offend, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's also that like part of it is the failing of like if you have to lay people off
Mhm.
in terms of like bloat, it probably means that like you did while you were like kind of getting that bloat into place, you just didn't have a good vision of like what to do with those people, right?
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, it's
Which,
like stocking your fridge, but then not making all the food that you thought you were gonna make, and then you
right?
end up having to throw stuff away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned like the Vision Pro earlier.
Mhm.
I ended up getting the Quest 3.
Oh, I was
Not the
about to
Vision
say
Pro.
no way.
But
No,
like it's like a lot of the things they like advertised about the Vision Pro, I feel like I can do on the Quest 3. I mean, I also feel like this is maybe like becoming somewhat of like a marketing thing for Meta, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
remember, and I think you listen to or read Morning Brew and
Yeah.
Morning Brew Daily, the podcast, right?
Hmm.
But they recently, when it was recent, they had on Mark Zuckerberg as a guest speaker, and they talked about this very thing that the Vision Pro is cool and it's shiny and it's new,
Hmm.
but it's not new.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Quest Pro's been doing it, and that's a That am I thinking of the right one? Quest Pro is a Meta product?
Yeah, Quest is
Okay.
Meta.
Okay.
I have the Quest 3. I think the Quest
Nice.
Pro is supposed to be like a few generations old or a generation old or something.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah. But same thing, right? I mean, he
yeah,
was saying that like, that's cool and it's new and Apple did it, so it's nice and exciting, but we made that and we've
yeah.
been perfecting it and all the issues that you might run into with Vision Pro, we've already addressed. So it's
Yeah.
worth, paying less for more.
Although from what I have seen, I think or at least what I've like heard and from like me using the Quest 3, like the hand tracking and stuff in it, but you
Mhm.
don't have to like necessarily use controllers anymore on it. So it'll
Oh,
just like track your hands with like the
nice.
sensors that are in the front.
Yeah.
So from what I've heard, the like and that the like Vision Pro tracking is like a million times better than the like Quest 3. And
Makes
like I haven't had that much trouble with the Quest 3s. Like it's been like fairly easy to like grab screens and like move them around and stuff like that.
yeah.
But it's just you get enough like issues with it where
Yeah.
it's just stops being like super immersive. Like when it's working, you just like don't even think about it. You just grab it, move the
Yeah.
screen, and you're like good to go.
I guess that
Right?
makes sense because the the Vision Pro was always trying to do that. And so they
Yeah.
were working towards it and they perfected it, whereas, the Quest had a
Yeah.
different starting point. So now they're
Yeah.
like, but as far as the software goes, I'm sure it's still competitive.
Yeah.
No,
And I heard the pass through is also a lot better in the Vision Pro. So like you can just see the world around you. And I think it was have you seen Marquez Brownlee's like YouTube channel?
I know of him. I don't think I've seen like all his recent videos regarding the Quest Pro, but I mean, yeah, I always see his shorts.
Yeah.
So I know he got it and he was one of those first people that got a chance to work with it.
Yeah. So he was playing table tennis with the Vision Pro.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wait, he was playing it in real life while also using the Vision Pro?
Oh yes, sorry. Yeah. So he
Okay.
was wearing the Vision Pro. He
Yeah.
had it on pass-through mode so he could see the world around him. And then he
Mhm.
had an actual table tennis racket or paddle in his hand. And he was playing against a guy. And the pass-through was like accurate enough and quick enough where he could like actually keep up.
Yeah,
So
because
like
it's
the
not
delay
like,
was very short.
yeah, the thing that's in front of you is not see-through.
Right.
Even though it kind of looks like it because it's like matted
Yeah.
black. It kind of just looks like it might be sunglasses, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's a screen that
Yeah.
then it projects what is
Yeah.
in
It
front
has
of
a
you,
camera on the outside that it has to project on the inside.
just like your Quest. But on the
Yeah.
Quest, you kind of assume it because it's a white panel.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't see through it. Okay, so that's good to know because I that's one of those things that I didn't really know about intuitively. You kind of assume that it's passed through, but it's not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's wow, that's really cool.
The pass-through on the Quest 3 is good, but
Yeah,
like it's still like grainy and then you can definitely like when I've went to like Pet Echo before, like my hand will reach him before I see my hand reach him. And it's not by like a significant amount. It's probably like a couple milliseconds or something.
but
It's
it's not
enough.
natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know where your hand is in
Yeah.
space. It's not, yeah. Echo your dog, by the way, for the list.
Yes. Yeah.
This podcast that you're gonna post on, is this like one of your first episodes?
Yeah, this will be the first episode.
Okay, so yeah, your dog Echo.
Yeah.
We have to lay a foundation here.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Hey, another thing, I know I heard a lot about the Vision Pro being very heavy. I
Mhm.
always go back to the ergonomical sense of it.
Yeah.
Will it actually work well? How's the Quest? Is it also heavy? Do you know the stats between, the weight of each?
Like the most the I usually use the Quest with contact lenses.
Okay,
If I can't use it with glasses the way it comes out of the box, like it doesn't work.
doesn't fit, yeah.
Especially with the glasses that I have, right? Um, but it's you can definitely feel the weight on your face.
Yeah,
I feel like it's more like the thing that more bothers me in the long run is the the face padding and my face just kind of gets like a little bit warm and so
yeah,
like you just kind of get like
the
it
sweat.
feels sweaty like around here, right?
Yeah. And for me, it's always like my nose is more pronounced, so it like
Mhm.
sticks out a little bit more than, I guess the Western nose. So it always ends up hurting the top bridge of my nose whenever I wear,
Yeah,
things that are face specific. And that reminds me, the battery pack, is it part of the Quest? Because on
yeah,
Vision Pro, it's one of those separate things you have to put on your like back pocket or something, right? Is it like built
yeah.
in?
So it's built
That'll
in.
add to the
You can
weight.
buy an extended battery, I think, that just connects. So it has just like a USB-C port.
Gotcha.
You can see that, yeah. So that you can like connect stuff to, and its battery life is probably like it. I think it's supposed to be about 3 hours. I think I usually get like between 2 to 3 hours, like if I'm not like connecting it to anything.
Mm,
Um, but I sometimes like I'll have like Steam open, and if I'm like playing a game, I'll just have it like connected to my computer, or I'll kind of be like kind of switching off of it every hour or so. So I never like fully end up using the battery life, but I also don't think I'm like using it as intensely as like most people probably do with it.
makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, you obviously use it for gaming, and then you can be in front of your computer for that, which means you have access to a port to just keep it
Yeah.
charged. Do you, which makes me think, do you use it for like work and stuff? That seems to be the
Yeah.
relevant application.
I tried it once,
Yeah.
because you can cast your computer screen in VR, right?
Yeah. So it's like pass through, but also like augmented reality with a
Yeah.
screen floating ahead of you, right?
Yeah, yeah, kind of.
Did I
It's not
use the right words?
there's no really pass-through portion of it, right?
Yeah.
Because it'll just be the screen like floating in front of you, and it'll just be a mirror of the screen that's on your computer.
And then the, well, I say pass through because like outside of the screen levitating ahead of you,
Mhm.
the surrounding is what, blacked out, or is it your room?
Oh, you could do it either way. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I meant by the
Yeah.
pass through element of it. But I mean, it seems
Oh,
cool.
actually, I might be wrong about that. Sorry, it's been a while since I've used it. I think if you're doing the screen mirroring,
Yeah,
I think it does put you into like a virtual room. I don't think you can actually tap pass through on at the same
that's
time.
fair.
I might be
That's
wrong
fair.
about that, but it's just a feature I've like tried using once, and I just never saw like the value in it. I'm like, I could just take them off and just be at my computer in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the only caveat is if you want more screens. If you're like with your laptop, you don't have a monitor and you
Yeah,
want more screen to look at,
yeah,
then obviously there's the application that it's
yeah.
convenient.
I also
Um,
have an ultra wide, so I basically have like three screens at
I was
any
just
given
about
time.
to say, not everyone has that, but when it comes to the virtual reality, you could have
Yeah,
whatever size you want, which
yeah,
might be convenient, might also be annoying. I mean, looking at a screen for too long can kind of give you a headache, right? So if it's
yeah.
it could be
I
something as well.
I had the Quest 2,
Yeah.
and I used it a few times, and I was like generally fine with it. I actually had a little bit of motion sickness with this at like times, which is
With
kind
the
of
three or the
surprising.
two?
Hmm?
With
On
the
the
three
three.
or the two? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. It was just generally during like the pass through, but I think like the more I've used it, the more I've gotten used to it. But
Yeah.
like at least initially, like I did definitely had like motion sickness while using it.
Yeah.
And I generally don't get motion sickness. Yeah. Like even on like,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And
You
then
know,
even on like
that does change.
hmm?
That does change with time. I used
Yeah,
to also not get very motion sickness symptoms, but as I've gotten older in the last probably like 5 years, I've experienced it more. Um, so it might just be one of those things that's catching up to you. But
yeah,
you make a good point, right? That it's your view, it's your vision that kind of gets distorted based on
yeah,
the difference between what you're seeing and what you're feeling in your ears, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So that's an element that I didn't really think about. I mean, obviously it might happen if you're playing a game.
yeah,
But it also, you feel it in more subtle things like when you're just
yeah,
trying to look at a virtual screen.
yeah. I mean, this might be also me just getting old, is that like I can't play the like so there's like in some of the games you can move using one of the sticks on the controllers.
Yeah.
And so it like rotates your body, and then you can like move even though you're like sitting in a chair, right?
Mhm.
I can play the quest games that require like me to actually move around, right? And actually require me to like like if I want to hit something, I have to like swing at it or whatever. Those are generally fine.
Yeah.
It's the ones where like I'm not moving, but my character is moving that I have like trouble with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. kind of just throws you off. It might just be one of those
Yeah,
things that is different person to person, varies
yeah,
based on your comfort with stuff like that, right?
yeah,
Not everyone can be a pilot for that very reason.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But that also reminds
Wait,
me while we're talking about those.
what? Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, you go first. This is your podcast.
I was gonna just ask about the pilot thing. Like, do people get like is motion sickness a big issue for like pilots or like people trying to be pilots?
No, I think it's more just an element of people aren't people aren't ready for it. It's pretty much a roller coaster experience, but it's
Hmm.
different when you're driving. Like personally, I don't like roller coasters. They throw me off, and I think it's just an element of a lack of control because I've gone the pilot route. I obviously drive cars and I enjoy being, a bit lead-footed, even though not anymore. Be safe
Yeah,
out there, folks. But I think the element of control is what kind of puts you into it. So if you're in a plane and you have turbulence, right, then you freak out because you just don't know what's going to happen next. But when you're the pilot yourself, it's obviously a little different. But then it also becomes a matter of, you'll hit pockets of air. So even if you're flying the vehicle, the plane, then you might have drops. You might have mild turbulence despite the fact that you're holding on to the yoke. Um, so it's just one of those things. Also, you're going really fast. This is not like a highway speed. This is like double that
right.
if you're
But
flying
there's
small.
it's not like you're. I mean, granted, not I don't know very much about it, but I assume there's not like a lot you have to be like cautious about like coming at you at high speeds, right?
That's fair. Yeah, that's true. And obviously it's the acceleration that you feel the
Yeah.
most. And when you're cruising, you're cruising. Yeah, it's just birds. You'd be surprised, airstrikes are real and that's a scary thing. But same thing could happen when you're driving.
Those darn birds.
Oh, I meant like deers, or
Yeah.
something like that. There's always something. So it's just yeah. Anyways, but getting back to the topic, while we were talking about, the Vision Pro and the Quest, whenever I tell people these are smart glasses, because not everyone knows about
Yeah.
this product yet, even though it's very, very
Yeah.
popular, like you mentioned to me the other day. But people always ask me, does it have like, can you see screens and stuff?
Hmm.
If you remember Ned's declassified school
Yeah.
survival, yeah, you remember Cookie would have like this little thing and you put it
Yeah.
down and then it would become like
Yeah.
augmented reality within his classes. I
Yeah.
think that would be the coolest next thing, but obviously there's a lot of trickiness that comes at that,
Yeah.
especially just the fact that it needs to be a little further from you so that you can actually see it within your
Well, like, I
your
mean, that's one of the
location.
things that's kind of cool about like heads up displays in cars,
Yeah,
right? Because they like I used to drive G70 and
yeah.
it used to have a heads up display and it was just like a projection that I'm guessing just took advantage of like the reflections off the glass and
Mhm.
to
You mean the
project.
Genesis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I've seen it in other cars as well. The Lexus RX 350 or something apparently has it. Prior to that, I had a friend with a BMW who had it. So
Mhm.
I think it just projects it onto the windshield in front of you. So you don't have to
Mhm.
look down at your dashboard. You can just see your speed or the directions, right?
Yeah, I think for glasses, you could probably do like a similar thing where you kind of take advantage of like the refraction and reflection properties of glass to make it just like seem a little further out without it actually being further out.
I'm sure that's got to be the way they do it. But it would be so cool if they could manage it. Because
I
it's just
remember
crazy.
this might have been like from a long, I don't remember how long ago this was, but there was a company that was trying to basically do that.
Okay.
And I think they like had their first iterations done. It was just that the issue had become that it just had to like be very tailored to your eye, right?
Okay, just as much as like prescription glasses and
Right.
lenses and stuff, right? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
And I think that's probably why they didn't like end up launching it.
Yeah,
Maybe wait, maybe it was Meta that was the company that was playing around with it. Um
it's a
and
great concept. I wonder
yeah,
if in application, if other people could also see, the inverse of what is reflected on your view. Because then that's weird. Like I don't want people to be able to see which way I'm going or something, privacy
yeah.
elements.
Right. I mean, I assume it would be like inverted or something when they like saw it. Like right now, I can see your screen on my screen through your glasses.
Through the glasses, yeah, yeah,
So, but it's just like a
yeah.
kind of an inverted image, so I assume it would be kind of a similar thing.
Exactly. But it's still like, I wonder if that would happen.
Yeah,
Because then that's something that you might have to work through as well.
yeah,
Or it's just one of those things that you deal with, even with
mm,
the audio on these
mhm,
classes. And it's not like bone conduction or anything. There's just a slit on
mm,
this arm, and
yeah,
it's angled towards my ears. So
mhm,
whenever I'm playing music, it's like it's not that loud in
mhm,
the grand scheme of things, but it's
yeah,
loud enough that being this close to my ear, I can hear it. But at the same time, it's an open ear situation, so noise bleeds. So if
yeah,
I'm having a private conversation, I might want to put the volume down or something,
yeah. Mm. Yeah,
or
no,
just not listen to music.
when I
I'm
was
on the
standing next
way.
to you, uh, this past weekend, I don't like when you were talking to Siham, I don't think I could hear that she was talking,
Could make
but I was
it
like standing fairly close to you, right? And
was
but I
also a
couldn't make out
quiet
any
room.
words. Yeah,
That's nice to know. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's one of those things that like I need to have someone else wear it
yeah,
and do the things that I would do
yeah,
so that I get the experience. Like I know what's going on because I don't want other people, like I said, overhearing my conversations. And that was a quiet room. It was
hmm,
my home kitchen with no one else there, nothing
yeah,
else. So it makes sense that you might hear it. Um, and the one thing about the open ear experience is that it doesn't work quite as well if you're in a loud space. I was wearing these on a flight back to Chicago recently,
hmm,
and I decided I wanted to just listen to my audiobook because I was tired of looking at my phone. So I was listening to an audiobook and I had to have it pretty loud so that it would be louder than the sound of,
yeah,
the air rushing past the plane at the time.
yeah,
But I also didn't want it to be so loud that I would disturb the person sitting right next to me.
hmm,
So, it's one of those things. It's you give and take.
yeah,
But overall, I still like the convenience of these classes. Like I wear them to the gym. As long as like your gym is not playing too loud of music, you can have this on and it works fine. Now
yeah,
again, if you're going after like the highest quality of audio, this might
hmm,
not be the tool for you,
yeah,
but that's not the only thing this thing is good for. It's
right,
got the AI element. I'm pointing at the mic, but the AI element, the camera,
yeah.
all together functionally for 300 bucks, I'm very impressed by this tool. Um, at the same time, 300 bucks is different for everyone, so maybe it's
Well,
worth it.
that's not like insane in terms of like price for glasses, right? Like
That's
it's
true. Yeah. This is
uh
not, that's actually the fun fact. This is not even the most expensive sunglasses or glasses that Ray-Ban sells.
yeah,
There are much more expensive ones that are not smart at all. Like they're just sunglasses. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head. As far as cost goes, you can reason it.
yeah,
These can be certainly worth the cost.
yeah. I was trying to take a look to see how if I like bought them, how much they would like cost me if I got like the prescriptions and everything because yours are not prescription, right?
That's true. Yeah, these are not. I can take them
Um
off you perfectly right now.
yeah, so I was with the prescription, I think it was like oh it was gonna be roughly $1,000 for me.
Because you have very specific lenses you need, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I'm very blind, right? So like
very
I
blind.
had to get like the like super thin variant of glasses,
Hmm.
and then I was thinking or of the lenses, and then
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting either the transition or the like blue light filtering, one of the two.
Hmm.
Um, and so that would have been like an extra like 100 or so bucks, but the prescription was like the biggest piece for me.
Yeah.
But like I think these glasses ended up running me like 700, 800 anyway, so it's like a
Yeah.
$200 increase on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That I was just about to say, I mean, you're still paying for that. It's just then you tack on 300 for the smart elements
Yeah.
and then a little bit more for the transition. So it all adds up within the space that already existed of
Yeah.
expensiveness, right? But I also hear that if you're not like, getting the most expensive stuff, if you're just getting prescription lenses, regular glasses, no tint, no transition, that some eye insurances will be able to, get them for you within your already
Yeah.
covered expenses. So the options are out there.
Hmm.
At the same time, uh, you know, it is what it is. I feel like if I wasn't making YouTube videos at the time,
Mm.
which would allure me to wanting a camera right here
Mm.
for the convenience of it,
Yeah.
then I probably would have just gotten headphones
Yeah.
because I use this mostly for that element.
Yeah.
And as far as needing a smart glasses kind of thing,
Mhm.
or sorry, an AI element, that can also be just fulfilled by headphones connecting to your phone and your phone being Siri or Gen AI or not Gen AI, ChatGPT. So, it's all depending on what you want. But
Yeah.
I think this is cool, I will say. That's one thing that, the older I get, the more I realize I just like doing things differently, and this is
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah.
So, if that appeals to you, then this is definitely a quirky way to fulfill that.
I think like once they get like more popular, and as you see like more people wearing them, I think one of
Mhm.
the fears is going to be just like the recording aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
'Cause I think there's a light that turns on when you're recording, but like as the glasses are now, like you couldn't I can kind of tell that they're like slots for like the cameras, but not like super well.
And that's why I got the black ones because I don't want people to be like, um, I don't, I like to have it be subtle.
Mhm.
But on the other end of the spectrum, what if you don't like having cameras around all the time? So I totally understand
Yeah.
that there is a light that turns on and I'll click this button right here to take a picture.
Mhm.
So you can see that
Oh,
one
it's kind
is
of bright. Yeah.
everyone else. Yeah, it's bright. That one's for everyone else. And then this one is the actual camera.
Mm.
That light stays on. If you cover it with like a finger so you can be more subtle and you try to take a picture, it won't take the picture. It won't
Okay.
record because it knows that the camera is the light is covered and then it becomes a matter of privacy. So they do try their very best to make it something that like is not breaking other people's privacy. They would know, hopefully, if they see the light that they're being recorded
Yeah.
or there's something up with those glasses, just as much as if you took out your iPhone. That's the other thing. A lot of people talk about the privacy element of it or the fact that they don't want their information shared with Facebook and Meta. But at the end of the day, this already exists.
Yeah.
Three cameras, and I hold it up all the time in public, right? So if you're worried about the cameras, then I think the bigger argument becomes we need fewer cameras everywhere,
Yeah.
but they're already part of our day to day. So that's why I personally don't feel bad wearing them because I totally understand other people's privacy. Also, as far as the user goes, you can turn these off. There's a little switch right here and
Mhm.
you can just turn it off and then all the
Yeah.
functionality of this being a smart glasses goes away. And then it's just regular glasses, that you
Yeah.
can wear. It's pretty much just an expensive frame. So there's definitely a lot of conversation to be had about, these pieces of technology being worn in a public space and potentially being invasive. But I think it's, the more you talk about it, the more you can learn about it. And
Yeah.
podcasts come in handy, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
All
you
right,
go.
cool. I think so it's heading around time to close it off, I
For
think.
sure. For sure.
Any
You have
final
me on.
statements? Actually, I think we never actually officially introduced who you were.
I'm gonna cut this to the beginning. Yeah.
So who are you?
Who am I? I didn't have anything prepared, but hi, my name is Aqeel Habib. I am a close friend of Zainal Abidin Kanare over here. We had a podcast back in the day too, if you
Yeah,
remember. So
three
Zain and
episodes.
I, Zain, Zain's a great friend. I'll tell you this. I'm not even introducing myself anymore.
Yeah.
I like Zayn because he's a champion of his friends, and I try to do the same thing. So whenever Zayn has a good idea, I try to egg him on. Whenever I have a good idea, he eggs me on, and I think that's why you and I, gravitate towards each other. So, in the spirit of that, Zayn, I'm excited for your podcast. I thank you for having me on. I am your friend, and that's why I think I'm on. I don't know how else to introduce myself, but. I wish you luck. I hope you'll have me on again and
You
listen
also
to
have
whatever the name of this podcast.
three videos on your YouTube channel, and
I also,
potentially
yeah,
going to be more going into the future.
consistency is the hardest part about anything, just as much as, this YouTube game has been for me. I've loved YouTube ever since I interacted with it as a young lad, and I thought it'd be so cool to, make some videos of my own and try to, contribute to this amazing platform of YouTube. And that's kind of what drew me to it. And honestly, I really did enjoy it. It just takes more time than you would expect. So to
Yeah.
all those content creators out there, uh, keep it up. You make it exciting to live in our current world, and we appreciate your efforts. And if I make some more, I hope you guys will join me on my channel every once in a while.
Yeah. Hoorah.
Shout out. Hoorah. Zane, I'll